Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I thought today would be a good idea to film a tapestry tutorial because I've had a lot of questions over on my Instagram asking me to do a tutorial, so here is one. This is a traditional tapestry tutorial, so just where you yarn over. It does look really complicated at first, but I promise you, once you're done with this tutorial, you will know how to follow any grid you like. It's really simple once you actually have the hang of it. I did also want to preface that this is my first ever tutorial. So let me know if I can improve anything. Please give me loads of feedback. I would love to improve if you want to see more tutorials from me in the future. And this is also not a complete beginner tutorial. It does require knowledge of chaining, single crochet, and changing colors. But other than that, let's get right into the video. For the purpose of this tutorial, I've chosen this pattern that I found on Pinterest, these two colours yarns and a 4mm hook. I usually do go by the recommended hook size that is on the yarn. I've never really found that it affects my tension or makes the tapestries look gappy. If your tension is a little bit more on the looser side, I would definitely say to size down if you want a bit more of a compressed look for your tapestry. Otherwise, I think it's totally fine to just go with a normal standard size hook and your outcome should be fine as long as your tension is all good. So let's start off with the first step. As we can see, this tapestry here is 19 stitches across. Whenever we read a tapestry, you always go from right to left. It's usually quite clearly indicated by these numbers, but in the circumstance that it's not, just so you know and you're aware. So you would start off by doing your chain 1 to 20. It's always the number of squares plus 1 for your beginning turning chain. And then you start from your right, you do 1, you go across, and then usually the evens are, you're always working on the back of the tapestry. So let's say our background will be purple. We will begin by chaining 20. You can also do a foundation chain. However, for the purposes of this video, I will just be doing a chain just for speed. And if you want me to do a tutorial on what a foundation chain is, I'll be more than happy to do so. Just let me know in the comments below. So you begin by doing a chain of 20, as you can see, because it's 19 stitches here. Remember to keep your tension a little bit looser for the chain, just so that you can put your hook back in easily for the single crochet. Right, here we have 20 chains. Your bottom line for your tapestry is always one single color. And now we can see in the first row, we've got 2 whites. We've got to change our color straight away. Then we've got a little bit of a gap before we go right back into our color change again. So what we're going to do here is we have to do 2 chains. So skip the first chain because that's your turning chain. You go into the first one and we single crochet. Into the second one, pull up a loop, and then we see that we have to change. So right before you finish your loop, you'll change your color. So you grab your pink yarn or whatever yarn you have chosen, leave the end at the back, yarn over with your new color, and there you are able to start with your new color. What you can do in this situation, which I usually do recommend, is maybe weaving in this end. You might notice that it is a little bit loose here, but that's okay. It will all end up working out. You can just pull the purple here, and as you can see, it got tight immediately. We know that we're only doing 2 single crochets for the beginning of the bow, and then we're changing back to our original color of purple. So I'll show you how to do that. With your new color, you're going to go into the next stitch, which is the next one right here. We'll keep this one down just so we can weave it in. We'll pull up 1, and if you can remember what we did last time, we just before the final one, we popped our hook into the chain, pulled up the loop. But what we're going to do is from the back, we're going to grab our original color, yarn over, and pull through. And there you have your 2 single crochets for the beginning of your bow, and you've successfully color changed as well. Here is where it gets a little bit tricky because we've got these 2 colors hanging out the back of our tapestry, and we need to make sure that our tension doesn't get too tight at the back where we're pulling the yarn too far. Let's count how many we need to single crochet before we get to the next color change. We've got 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. So that means I would say, and I would usually recommend, that you bring your old color with you every 4 or so single crochets, but I'll demonstrate that now in terms of what I mean. So we grab our project. We know we're doing 11 single crochets before we change back to the pink. And what we're going to do is we are going to go 1 2 3, and then on the 4th, where you put your hook in, you're going to grab your pink from the back, put that into there, and then yarn over and carry on. This will then create at the back a little, you can make that a little bit smaller, just something to carry the pink over so that you're not carrying the pink all the way through the project and potentially causing it to bend if you put it too tight, and it just helps to keep that nice tension along your whole project. So we've got 4 single crochets so far. Let's carry on. We'll leave the pink there for now. We'll go 5 6 7, again 8, and now again we bring this over, pull up and round, and this is how it's looking at the back. This will mean that your pink will not cause any extra tension into your project, and when it pulls like this, there's still plenty of room for your project to stretch and not be impacted by this yarn here. And we'll carry on again. 9 10, and then we know that the 11 is our last one, so we'll pull in, pull up, just so that it's ready for the color change. We will yarn over, and carrying it across from here is a lot easier than pulling it all the way from the beginning. It just allows that little bit of room to be a bit more free with your project. So we're going to do our 2 single crochets. If we had, for example here, where the bow becomes bigger, you'll need to carry over the purple more than the pink. It just really depends on how many you're carrying over. I don't really feel like it's necessary where there's 2, but where I would say there's more than 3, you really do need to carry it inside the color change. So then you're going to do your 2, so we'll go 1 and 2. Oh, made a mistake there. I was supposed to carry over the purple before I finished the one before the final color change. So pull up, yarn over the purple, and then you do the final 2 stitches, and there you have completed the first row of your tapestry. As you can see, that looks about right. We've got a color change, we've got 2 stitches here, we've got the correct length, and all we need to do is just carry on working up this graph, and you should eventually get a bow. So now we're going to be working on the back. I just want to show you how to color change the back, and then I'll end this video here. So with the back, you have to be a little bit more careful with your color change, just because you want a bit more of a seamless change. So I never really do a turning change just because it never works for me, and I feel like it always makes my product a little bit more jaggedy. However, if you want to do a turning chain, please do. So what you do is you're going to bring your yarn to the front here along the side. So where it ends, I'll just show you again. It's just hanging on the side. I usually put my hook in and pull it with my left hand this way. So we know already we're on row number 2. We've got 2 purples to do, then 3 pinks, and then we'll carry on. So we've got 2 purples. Get my hook in. 1, and then we know this will be the one where we change our color. We pull up our loop, and what you do here is you bring your original color back first, and then you bring up the color that you want to use forward. So you'll loop through, you pull it round, and then it will naturally come to the front. And then we know what we're doing. We're going to do 3 pinks, 1, 2, and then 3, pull up, bring to the back, and then put our purple through. Just to be aware, 3 stitches is probably the most that I would go between a color change. Say for example, this pink was actually 5 stitches long. I would have carried the purple over probably at the 3rd stitch just for ease of the color change, if that makes sense. If that doesn't make sense, let me know and I'll re-explain it in the comments. So we know what we've got to do our big gap now. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stitches to do here. That means we will be doing 9 purple stitches and then going back to the pink. You might notice that the yarn that you're not using, that you did bring back originally, kind of does naturally want to move forward. Just keep hold of that as you carry on, and then eventually it will just naturally fall back. It just helps complete the stitch on the other side. That's all it does in that meantime. So we're going to do our 9 stitches. So we're going to go in here, 1, 2, 3, and then we know on our 4th stitch we carry over. So we'll bring this over first. On the back you always bring over first, just because you don't have the hook to hook it onto like you do from the front. You go under the yarn, you put your hook through the loop, pull up a loop, yarn over. That's 4 stitches so far. And then we'll go 5, 6, 7, and then again on the 8th you put your yarn right under the stitch that you're going to be carrying the yarn from, under, pull up again. If you find that your tension is getting a little bit tight from where you pulled the yarn, which is the case here, you can literally just pull up a bit of yarn and that will keep it nice and loose. Then the last stitch here, we've got the 9th stitch, pull up, bring back, hold it with your thumb, grab your new yarn, and we know that from here we've got 3 stitches again. We've got 3 stitches again and then 2 to finish. So we would go yarn over with our new colour just to make sure that it's ready. And then we go 1, 2, and 3, pull up, bring to the back, hold with your thumb, bring your yarn, your new yarn, over, and then you do your final 2 stitches, and you just carry on this way, figuring out what works best for you, how best you prefer to carry your stitches over, but that's what I like to do. This is the beginning of the tapestry, as you can see, and that is the traditional tapestry way. I will also be releasing a video where I show you how to intarsia tapestry crochet, where you do not have to carry over, so the back is actually the same as the front. So that should be the next video, but I hope you guys enjoyed this one and explained any questions that you might have had. Thank you so much for being here, and see you guys next time. Bye.